Shalom. This is Hawud. So, this is what I'm going to do for y'all, my brothers and sisters. I am going to go into the kolbrin Bible on my phone because I had got a new phone. I had got that Z Fold thing, so I can open up more stuff and I can read one thing and record at the same time. So, I'm going to go into the kolbrin Bible and I am going to read the deluge where where it talks about the story of Noah, where it talks about the flood. And I want y'all to hear the difference. And then you tell me what make more sense. Do the Bible make more sense, or does the kolbrin Bible make more sense? It's even like with the story of Adam. When you read the story of, I think his name is Hamathater or something like that, some weird name. But even his story is that the Most High didn't take a rib. It said he took his blood and made Eve. And actually, because blood is the lifeblood. It's the life that's flowing in you. That's what keep you alive, not a bone. A bone is a structure. You know what I mean? So it did make more sense to me. I'll read that for y'all, another day. But I want y'all to hear this because I'm like, wow, like this is crazy. Yeah, I think his name was Herthru or something like that. So the screen is going to go black because I'm sitting on my steering wheel. Just so you know, y'all, so I can read it to y'all. And I'm going to read the whole thing. It's a lot. I'm not going to lie to y'all. It's a lot. So just get ready. It's going to be a long one. All right. Let me make sure. All right. So this is the deluge. It is written in the great book of Firehawks that earth was destroyed twice. Once by fire and once partially. Listen. Partially. Not the whole earth. Half of it. Or a part of it. Partially by water. See, this is why you got signs of a flood over here and not signs of a flood on the other side. You see what I'm saying? And that's something that people were talking about, like with the different animals and stuff like that. This gonna make sense when you read. When I read this, watch how much sense it make. The destruction by water was the lesser destruction and came about in this manner. The people of those times spurned all spiritual things, and men lived only for pleasure. Oh yeah, before I finish this, listen. As I'm reading this, listen to what I'm saying and tell me if this ain't literally telling you what's going on right now. Literally, I mean literally what's going on right now. That's another thing. Just watch this. So I will be sipping my little cappuccino while I'm reading too. I just want to let y'all know that. Living only for pleasure, caring little for good of mankind or the future of the people. Lewdness, lies were upon the tongues of all men, and brother could not deal justly with brother. The princes and governors were corrupt, and proper tribute was not paid. The statues were held up to scorn. The lives of men were ruled by their desires, and they spent their days in gluttony, drunkenness, fornication, dancing, and singing to instruments of music. Hello. Don't that remind you of something? The land was unattended, for men dissipated their strength in unproductive lust and pleasures. Women lacked shame, for many would cast their glances after one man. Men fought among themselves and even slew one another because of their lust for worthless women. While the chaste women were not sought, they were even rejected, for men declined the effort of being worthy of them in the eyes of their fathers. Wives were unhonored, and the only woman of pleasure commanded the attention of men. Women were unclean and immodest, and men lay with them shamelessly in the presence of one another. One woman Wait a minute, my fault, y'all. Not one. Old women were more lustful than the young ones, while virgins were seduced and corrupted in their childhood. Fathers fornicated before their sons and were admired for their prowess. They made no distinction between their sons and other men, or between their wives and other women. Deceit and violence were seen on every hand. Tell me there in videos and stories of men having sex with women with their sons, like pulling a train on a woman with their son. Tell me this ain't true. And tell me if these old women ain't on TikTok shaking their ass. Naked. Damn near. Yeah. Right. Cougars or whatever you want to call them. So, you see what's going on. So, when this destruction come, don't fucking look shocked. You know what I'm saying? Don't look shocked. Let's keep going. To the east and north were high mountains, upon which dwelt a tribe called the sons of Nazara. The men of the mountain. Hold on, I think this is the wrong one, y'all. This the second one. Hold on, y'all. I think I did read the wrong one. Flood of Tuma, the deluge. No, that is it. Loma, the flood of Tuma. Wait, maybe it's this one. Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry, I think I read the wrong one, but it's the same story, but it's not the one that gets into the ark. Yeah, it's just talking about two tribes going after each other before the flood started. So my fault. It's the flood of Atuma. That's the one. This is the one that talks about the ark. I'm sorry, y'all, but that's still good to take into consideration. Understand that before the flood happened, the people were doing the exact same thing they're doing right now. The exact same thing that they're doing right now. Everything that I just read is actually happening. All right, let's go. Behold, was this not written in the days of our fathers and of their fathers before them, and given unto us, that we should pass it on to you, the children of days yet unborn, that if the ability of the scribe remains with you, it could be read in your generations. Read, O children of the unborn years, and absorb the wisdom of the past, which is your heritage, the enlightening words from a past which is to you in days so far away, and yet in truth so near. That was serious, wasn't it? That was serious, wasn't it, y'all? We are taught that we live forever, and this is true. But it is equally true that no moment of life must be wasted. For each hour and day on earth is a shaping for the future. We are the inheritors of a portion of time. We can dissipate it on futile things, or utilize it to our everlasting benefit. In the days of our fathers, before barren teachings clogged the thoughts of men, and vain formal rituals built a wall which obscured understanding, men walked in the light of truth. Then they knew there was one God alone. Hello. But because they allowed their higher abilities to fall to disuse, they saw less clearly. Because he appeared in different aspects, they thought he was many. Now, in our days, God has many varied forms in the eyes of men, and each declare he alone knows the true name and likeness of God. Here all men fall into error, though all have spoken truly according to their understanding. But the truth can never bow to the limited understanding of man. The comprehension of men must expand to grasp it. In olden times, there were spawned great monsters and beasts. Let me read that for you again. In olden times, there were spawned great monsters and beasts. Let me show you that this book is telling you truth, because when I read this next paragraph, this one paragraph, it's literally going to describe what these people are showing you on the internet today about the giants, the dragons, these giant creatures, these snakes, all these giant creatures that they have been finding that's fossilized, that are turned to stone. Watch this. There were spawned great monsters and beasts in fearful form, with frightful gnashing teeth and long ripping claws. An elephant was but a cat in comparison with them. Then, because of heavenly rebellion and turmoil, and the terror overwhelming the hearts of men, the great one, the Most High, hardened the face of the land, which had become unstable, and the beasts were changed to stone. Let me read that again. Then, because of heavenly rebellion and turmoil, and the terror overwhelming the hearts of men, the Most High did it because of the terror these creatures were causing on the earth. The Great One, that's the Creator, hardened the face of the land, which had become unstable, and the beasts were changed to stone. This was before times when the destroyer still slumbered in the upper vaults of heaven. Now, I don't know if y'all seen the video that I did about the destroyer. That's a giant dragon fire monster that the Most High sends to burn the earth up. That's what he sent to destroy Egypt. 9 days they went through hell. They don't tell you that. They just tell you that people drowned in the ocean. But they don't talk about all hell that them Egyptians went. The Most High put them people through hell. You hear me? Again, if you want me to read it again, y'all can't find it because I think it was like a year or two ago. I don't have a problem with reading it. I will read it. You just leave me a comment. Say, yo, brother, jump on there. You know what I mean? Get it popping for me. I got you. Thus, it is written in the record of Belshazzar. In those days, the people were wicked. And though the wise men among them gave many warnings of the wrath to come, they would not listen. Such is the way of the wicked. So, if you're wicked, you're wicked. I don't know if y'all saw the video, and I know some people probably gonna get mad. Dang, you keep stopping. Shut up, this is my video. But I don't know if y'all saw the other video where I said the Most High said he gonna pour his spirit out on man. And when I was talking about that, I said, if you're a wicked man, you're gonna do wicked things. If you're a righteous man, you're gonna be righteous. If you're a thief, you're gonna be a thief. You're gonna be whatever you are. Whatever your heart desire, that's what you're gonna produce. And that's what you see. This is why these demons are having so much fun, because it's so easy now. You know what I mean? People are just being what they are. So that's just something to think about. And this is kind of just telling you, like, if you're wicked, you're going to be wicked. You ain't going to stop. You're just going to be wicked. See that? It says, matter of fact, I'm going to read it again. It says, in those days, the people were wicked. And though the wise men among them gave many warnings to the wrath of the wrath to come, they would not listen. Such is the way of the wicked. So it came about that the chastening spirit became stirred up against them. I'm going to stop again. I'm going to tell y'all something. The chastening spirit that the Most High is going to allow, or that's going to be stirred up, right, to destroy these people, right, is female. Can anybody tell me why is it female? Tell me why would a spirit that chastise man and woman is female. Why is this spirit female? That's gonna do this. I mean, she's gonna do some shit too. But why is she female? But let's keep it going. So it came about that the chastening spirit became stirred up against them because of the odor of wickedness. So the demons can literally, you actually give off a smell. When you're wicked, you stink in the spiritual world. And when you're righteous, you have a sweet smell. So if you got these entities in your house and you seeing these little dark men walking around in your house, yeah, well, you know what you are, right? Because you're drawing them to you because you have that smell. You smell good. That's just something to think about. All right. Because of the odor of wickedness arousing from the earth. For their nostrils abhorred the smell of evil. This is the smell that no man can know, for as hounds know the smell of fear, which no man can detect, so can other beings know the smell of wickedness. There you go. I told you. The great floodgates, which are above the earth, were all open. Thus the floodwaters rose up to cover the land, and great rainstorms lashed down. The winds could no longer discover their destinations. Car, don't start acting stupid. The people left the plain of Shinar and fled into the great mountain, rising above the flatlands. Below and here, near the summit, they camped, feeling themselves secure. The wicked mocked, saying, "No water can ever reach us up here." That's funny, right? Here, you damn near dead, and you climb up a mountain. The first thing you want to do is run your fucking mouth. That shit's crazy. You scared that you're gonna die, but as soon as you get away from it, the first thing that comes to your mind is to run your fucking mouth. It's amazing. For there is not enough of it in heaven or earth. This is what they said. I'll read it for y'all so y'all know what they said. It says, let me get where it was. Okay. They fled to Shinar and fled up into the great mountain, rising above the flatlands below. And here near the summit they camped, feeling themselves secure. The wicked mocked, saying, "No water can ever reach up here, for there is not enough of it in heaven or earth." Wow. Still the waters rose ever higher, and the mouths of the wicked were silenced. The priests of the people danced and chanted in vain. Let me read that again. The pastors and the bishops of the church danced and chanted in vain, and many rituals were performed to appease the wrath above. Don't that sound familiar? Yeah, I added the pastors and bishops. There came a period of quietness. Then the people built a gateway to heaven, wherein the chief of the interpreters might commune with the other realm. He entered into the silence and cast his spirit. And when he had done so, it contacted the chastening spirit, which men called by other names. Her voice was heard within his heart, and it said, "I am that which has been called forth by the odor of wickedness arising from the bodies of men." Did y'all just hear what I said? Did you just hear they made some type of transport to leave so this man could literally separate his spirit from his body, go up into the heavens, and commune with spiritual beings. Listen, this is crazy, right? All right. Bodies of men, okay. Which no incense can disguise, for as the smell of putrefaction assails the nose of men, so does wicked give forth something which assails us in this realm. Wickedness is therefore an offense against us. If a man threw filth over the wall into your courtyard, would you not consider this as an act of hostility? Could any among you live in harmony with those who were insensitive to your own sensitivity? Thus I am awakened to the happenings in the world of men, and 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 am now clothed in a performing substance. The spirit being said, I have no desire to unduly punish men. Go out to the people and tell them that if they will but mend their ways and walk no more in the path of wickedness, I shall depart. Don't that sound familiar? But when the chief of the interpreters returned, listen to this, to the people, he found them fearful and distraught, clay in the hands of the false priests, devotees of the baleful gods. The false priests were crying out for a sacrifice to their gods and had seized Anis, and a young man more handsome than any other, a messenger and runner between cities. Then though they whispered fearfully among themselves concerning the deed, the people had seized Nanua, handmaiden to Eloma, the enlightened one, whose life was dedicated to Ileana, for she had cried out curses upon their heads when the young man was taken. Nanua and Anis were held by the false priests, and about them surged the great mass of the people. And though the chief of the interpreters raised his voice, it went unheeded. Then the mass of people moved down to the water's edge, and there they stopped while the priest shouted prayers to the gods raging above. All the heavens were darkened with the great rolling clouds, and there were high winds and lightning about the mountaintops. The people rent their garments, the women wailed, and men struck their forearms. Anis was beaten with a club, then delivered to the waters. Then as he who wielded the club turned towards Nanua, she said to those about her, let be, I will deliver myself to the waters. For if I must be sacrificed, I would be a better sacrifice so given. Then she went down to the waters, but as her feet entered, she drew back from the cold, dark, watery depths before her. But as the one who wielded the club moved forward, a young man, what's his name? Shiluet, I guess. The scribe, a man of quiet ways, neither handsome nor strong in body, pushed forward and taking her by the hand, went down into the waters with her. The waters had risen high, and men shared the place where they stood, with wild beasts and with sheep and cattle. But now the tumult quieted, and the waters drew back. Seeing this, the people shouted praises to the baleful gods and cried out, great are the mighty gods, and great their holy priests. You know what's funny about this part? is that it's always the ones that causes all the wickedness. Always stir people up to kill innocent people while they sneaky asses live. You know what I'm saying? It's always like that. And my thing is, if somebody gotta get sacrificed, throw your dumb ass. You get in the water, motherfucker. Like, you jump in there. Why is it? You notice that they always take innocent people and kill them for they wicked asses? That'd be really irritating me, man. All right. The chief of the interpreters went sorrowfully, apart, hiding himself, for now he was fearful for his life. When the waters had subsided, he cast his spirit and entered into communion with the chastening spirit, and he said, "Shall I also enter the falling waters as a sacrifice? For life is now futile, as I am without God or honor." The great one answered, "Men see in events the things they wish to see. They can interpret only according to their understanding. The waters rose to their limitations and did not fall because of the needless sacrifices. The powers above may ordain events to chasten men, but more often such events are challenges and tests. However, divine intervention is rare indeed. These priests follow a longer path, but they too condemn wickedness, and they too point the way to truth, though that way may be indirect and beset with hazards. So whether they or you reach the ears of the people, the odor of wickedness will be diminished. Divine ends are achieved by diverse means, and the eyes of few men are open to see either the means or the end. Life is never futile, but your sacrifice would be. No man can lose his God, for he is always there. But the prestige of a man, because of that God, such prestige is a worldly thing of little value. How do you know whether you have lost or gained? Events of the moment cannot be weighed in the moment, but can be assessed only by the judgment of the years. Only eternity knows whether this or that was good or bad, a gain or loss. Then the great one opened the eyes of the chief of the interpreters. So he saw beyond the earthly border, into the realm beyond. Behold, he saw Anis, who had been strong and handsome on earth, and now he was something not pleasant to gaze upon. He saw also the true beauty of Nanua, who was now a being of dazzling loveliness, and beside her was Shaluet, who had always loved her secretly, and he was now glowing with the youth and handsome as Helith, the chief of the interpreters. Then understood that evil could be transmuted into good, and that men had little knowledge of the true nature of things. Upon the mountain there is now a grove of trees and a temple built in the form of a circle of white stones. Y'all know what I was going to do last night, but I was tired because I was reading this last night too. You know what I was going to do? I'm actually going to literally look and see if there's a temple on a high mountain, and like in a circle with white stones. Because if it was there then, it's probably there now. Straight up, I was going to search and just see, because it's not like you can't get on Google Maps or just Google it, because they don't expect us to know this stuff anyway. Upon the mountain there is now a grove of trees and a temple built in the form of a circle of white stones, where the people remember the day of their deliverance. But what they recall and what happened are not the same, nor is the cause in their minds. The true cause, they say, we are the children of Atuma, who saved us. Many who have gone often to the temple of deliverance say they have seen two shades, one radiantly beautiful and one gloriously handsome, wandering hand in hand through the trees or sitting in the sunlit glades. All about is now a place of peace. Men walk under the shadows of dread and fear of unknown powers fill their hearts. They have fashioned images in the likeness of things which frighten them. In the gloom of ignorance, and they spurn the real. They spurn the real for the unreal. Did they see more clearly? Would they know that the things they fear were but gentle and sturdy hands which can lead them to fields of contentment? Actually, y'all know what? I was reading the right one, and I just read the whole wrong one. So actually, it was a good thing I did read the wrong one, though, because now you know it was more people than just who they call Noah. But what I'm gonna do, hold on, let me find it, because I know I'm gonna read a little bit more of the other one, just so you can get an idea of what was going on. And like what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read the crazy part, and then I'm gonna get down to the part with the Noah character. All right. To the east and the north were high mountains upon which dwelt a tribe called the sons of Nazarah. The men of the mountain, who were hardy men and mighty hunters, skillful in the chase and valiant in battle. The men were upright. Their wives were faithful, and their sons noble. In their hearts were no unworthy thoughts, no envy, no hate, no malice, or deceitfulness. They did not smile before a man's face, uttering smooth words, and when he turned his back, reached out to stab him. In their wives and daughters there was no impure longing, and neither cursing nor lying was heard among them. The womenfolk respected their men and maintained decency and decorum. Yet they were men with men's ways, abhorring all forms of unmanliness and degeneracy. Therefore the treasures in the cities of the plains of the weakness of the people to whom these belong did not go unnoticed by the sons of Nazarah. So they said among themselves, let us go down and do a good deed among these people. Let us show them the ways of men who are strong, making them slaves and possessing ourselves. And possessing. Now why she wound up calling my phone? Oh my God, she about to mess my video up. Oh my God, this lady about to make me so mad. She's about to destroy my video. If she do, y'all, I'll just do a part 2. Watch. Why do you wait till 10, 11 o'clock to call me about some work? This lady do this all the time. Oh God, it drive me crazy. And I tell her, miss, please don't call me this late. And she'll keep doing it. All right, y'all. Whatever. So, where was that? Possessing ourselves of their goods. This talk continued among the men in the marketplace and gatherings until they were stirred up to the deeds, and they gathered together a war band of fighting men. The mountain men chose leaders from among themselves after their customs, and prepared to fall upon the soft living men of the plains, and become their masters. When the chiefs of the mountain men saw what was happening, they became wroth, and ordered the men to return to their flocks and pastures. The chief of chiefs stood up before the gathering war band and said, It is our decree that this thing shall not be done. You must not go down from these mountains, bringing swords to these people. Leave them alone, as rotted fruit is left on a tree to wither and die. Leave them to follow their own ways. A little longer, and in fullness of time they will destroy themselves. Reason why he's saying that, because when I first started reading this, remember, these were the people that were doing all the lustful stuff and sleeping with everybody's wives and doing that. That's the people that the mountain men are talking about. So their elders, their chiefs, are telling them, like, they're going to destroy themselves. Don't even bother them. But they're about to go a little deeper into it. All right, what was that? They to destroy themselves. All right. Make no widows among your own people. If you go down and carrying fire and swords, you may find a trap laid for you among the flesh pots. The attraction of their pleasure and the temptation of their luxury is too strong. Is too strong. Men such as you, like the lure of the flame has for the moth. Do not lie yourselves open to destruction, even though the manner of its accomplishment be pleasant. If you must destroy the people, then destroy utterly, so nothing remains. They are many while you are few, and though by the keen, hard-hitting swords we may prevail in battle, yet might we not be lost under the deluge of soft feathers. Will you be wise enough to sup on milk and honey without being drowned in it? For a time the fighting men heeded the words of their chiefs, for they were neither willful nor reckless. But there were some among them who went down to the plains in peace. They returned with tales of treasures and pleasures awaiting below, reporting that the time was ripe for an attack, and the warmen hired by the lowlanders having departed. For in those days the god of Sharapik strove against the gods of Elishdor and Ladek. Then the fighting men disregarded the commands of their chief, and choosing war captains from among themselves, went down and fell upon the people of the plain. Now, what the chiefs were saying was right. If you're living a righteous life and you're nowhere near this wickedness and these crazy pleasures, and when you go down there and you don't utterly just destroy everything that they doing and them totally, like, wipe out everything, what's going to happen is you're going to start wondering, like, damn, I guess I could just chill a little bit in this bar and look at this lady dancing on the stage. I just do it this one time. I ain't gonna do it no more. And then you find yourself you in there. And then the next thing you getting drunk. Then the next thing you having sex with all these women. They were right. They were right. And I'm about to read it to you. All right, hold on. The people of the plain bow before the strength of the men of the mountains. They did not fight, for among all their possessions, they regarded their lives as the most valuable thing, precious above all else. They said, take whatever you want, our riches and harvests and treasures treasured things from our dwellings, even our daughters, for your amusement. But leave us enough that we may live under your shadow. The sturdy men of the mountain were sickened by these half men who had lived in 3 generations without fighting, and they despised them. The battle-hardened men who had come down from the highlands took whatsoever they desired. The plainsmen demurred, but because of their stomachs turned to water before the variety of their conquerors. Their protestations were words of wind. The victors clothed themselves in plunder, finery, and indulged themselves in the wines and deliciousness. Delicacies. I said deliciousness. Delicacies of the food tables. Here it comes. They slept in the beds of luxury and dispensation, every want being attended to by the vanquished. They learned the ways of sensuality, which goes with soft living, and when sated with natural pleasures, some enlightened their boredom with unnatural ones. Yep. The mountain men saw that the women of the cities were beautiful, but they were not modest, chastening their charms before the masters, unashamed. So it followed. They were taken when required and treated as chattels. The women did not complain, though. Herever they had stood equal with their menfolk. So they used to stand with their men, the soft ones, the suckers. They used to stand with them. But it says, but woman's equality with half men is not something of value. You hear that? Woman's equality with half men don't have no value. With women like this, the men placed no restraint on their lust and went from excess to excess. The women, rejoicing in the strength and the vigor of the men, said among themselves, here are men indeed, such as we have not known before. Then in the manner of women, they turned away from their own men and from their households of their husbands and fathers. For now they despised them. They threw off all womanly restraint and grappled with the victors like ravening beasts. And the strong were vanquished by weakness. Always do women behave thus when their menfolk are defeated in battle. It is for this men fight. Ain't that the fucking truth? Excuse my French. Tell me that ain't the truth. I know some sisters probably gonna get bad, but that shit ain't lying. Because of the situation with us, the brothers, that we literally can't fight these people at this moment, because the Creator said, you're not gonna win. I'm gonna make sure you don't. I'm gonna help them fuck you up. Like, you know what I mean? So it ain't nothing we can do. And so they right now they exuding this masculinity to a lot of our women, and look at what they're doing. You hear it. I told y'all, I sat there and watched a panel with like 20-something women laughing, talking about she loved watching a white man beat black men down and all that, and got sons and all, talking about she want to abort her black baby and all. It's crazy. So, that ain't lying. I ain't saying all y'all ain't doing it, but a lot of y'all are. I know sisters right now that's married to white men. And their excuse will be this: I don't want to struggle. You're cursed. The Creator cursed his children, not just his men. He cursed all of us. So when you go run and you lay down with another nation and he told you not to give your sons or your daughters to them and not to take their sons and their daughters, what you think that a law? He don't change, right? So if you broke his law, what's the judgment for that? And you might be able to step away and abandon your child, because that's what's going to happen. He's going to tell you to abandon that half-wit or whatever you're going to call him. But, I'm just saying. All right. So here we go. None came to do battle with the victors, for they who fought for the gods had destroyed themselves, and in the fullness of time, the victors too were destroyed by the flesh pots, by fornication and drunkenness, by ease and luxury. For fighting strength and valor departed with the passing of years. They grew fat and slothful. Yeah, look at the men. Look at our men. Fat, slothful. You ain't got too many men that look like they ain't, getting knocked out by women. You see that too with our people. Some of our men can't even hold their hands right. Swing like girls. Okay, let's keep going. It wouldn't happen like in the 80s and 90s though, because the dudes of my time, we ain't go for that soft shit. You had to rumble back in the day. There was some soft dudes, but it wasn't like it is now. There's a bunch of little candy bars out there now. Whole lot. I just had a boy leave me keep leaving me these Johns, and I think I did do a video on it, but it's not the same dude. It's another dude now, and I'm like, I responded back like, what are you, a girl? Are you a woman or are you a man? I don't know what he is, right? He don't have no picture or nothing up there, and the name is like a weird name. So. And how they all say something, but it'll be one word stuck together, like they're witchcraft. So I asked him, like, are you a man or you a woman? Because the comments you leaving, it's like they feminine, like they not manly. You saying all this weird, dumb shit out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, this either got to be a white dude, or this one of these nut ass young little sucker ass, one of our people, little sucker that done got, I don't know, but my thing is this: what is you, bro? You sound like a stone cold bitch on this shit, talking this stupid shit to me. Like, my thing is this, and this is what I mean. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, go look at something that you agree with. You know what I'm saying? Only thing I do is I recite the scripts. I talk about how I feel about stuff, and I recite what's going on as far as in scriptures. I go off the scriptures. I go off the word of the Most High, literally. You know what I mean? I don't sit there and say, oh, well, the Most High said he was going to have a son, I think. You know what I mean? I don't read the scripture and say that's what he said. Nah, because he don't say it. And I don't sit there talking about, well, I got to interpret it. Nah, that ain't what he says. And don't say shit about him having no damn son or son of somebody. Y'all know I do a lot of videos about that because that shit irritates me. So, you want to leave me these dumbass messages and, like, no weird-ass stupid shit. Like, come on, dude. And there's other dudes, they leave me, like, one dude left me a John was like, I don't believe the shit. I don't believe it. Cool. I'm good with that. But when you leaving me this little weird, dumb, gay-ass, stupid, like, his messages is like real fucking, see, look, I'm about to get stroked. I'm about to strike with you because of what I said. But that is irritating, you know what I mean? It's really irritating because it's like, how y'all even make it anywhere? Like, you know what I'm saying? And what I don't get is, they be the toughest dudes. Like, they be so tough on this. And oh my gosh. Yo, they mouth is crazy. knowing like hell, you wouldn't say, and listen, like I said, I'm not a big dude. I'm 5'7", I'm about 200, almost. I'm not fat, though. I'm just like husky, I'm kind of, husky and stuff. Because, I used to be a little weightlifting little dude. Not like, look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but, I stayed cut up and stuff, or whatever, especially when I got a book, so when I was up top, so, I worked out and everything, and, you know what I mean? So, my thing is, it's like, dude, even though I ain't, I'm not a menacing looking person, but I guarantee you, when I give you that damn look, my look, how I look at you, and you see this ain't no plan coming out of, like I'm not displaying no plan. You ain't gonna say that out your mouth then. You gonna shut right up. Cause you ain't built like that. Like, you could tell they not built like that. It just, oh God, man, it irritates me bad. Cause I done had like little conversations with dudes that you can tell that if we had any type of words, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it ain't gonna be too many. You know what I mean? We had any type of that, it's gonna come to blows. You know what I mean? Like, we gonna be out here scrapping. You know what I mean? But this dude, he got so much to say. Like, sound like a girl. Like women, like just won't shut the fuck up. Like, damn, bros. See a person like that, you get punched in your mouth. Like, so I can, you can shut up. You talking too much. You running your mouth too much. Yeah, I know back in the day, boy, you about to fight somebody, and because I grew up down, I don't know if everybody, somebody that's on here from Philly, y'all already know. I grew up down Fifth Street, right? From a baby till I was almost 13. Anybody know about South Philly and Fifth Street? Y'all already know how, especially back in the 80s. So y'all know. It was, and I grew up down in the Fifth Street projects, the Pound. Y'all know what I'm talking about, Southwalk. So, and I went to Nebraja on 6th and Carpenter when I was young. And my brother went to Washington, on Washington Avenue, or whatever. So, y'all know what it was. Y'all know how it was down there. Anybody, that grew up in Philly, y'all know how it was down South Philly. South Philly was crazy. Yeah, actually, North Philly too. Damn near, there was one too many spots you can go that was kind of, laid back or whatever. But you ain't gonna be doing all that mouthing, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Even as young as, like, when we were young, listen, we get into it, I'ma holler at you at the school, boss, or you gonna get jumped on right there in the lunchroom or something. When we had to get our lunch tickets, y'all know that's back in the day stuff, when you had to get your lunch tickets and stuff and go stand in line and get your little lunch tray and stuff. So, it was a different world then. I remember when the coach told me a joke. He said, Mr. Trueheart, he said, "What's faster than an Ethiopian? Well, no, what's faster than a jet?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "An Ethiopian with a lunch ticket." Because back then, they used to show all those videos of Ethiopians and, people starving and dying and don't have no food, and send up 99 cents so we could feed these people. Like fucking hell, they was lying and still lying. They still show that stuff. They still showing the same stuff. God getting us, and just we go right there, run right to it. But hold on, let me I'm gonna get to the part with the all right, here, I need to read this too. I'm gonna read this part, and then I'm gonna get to the part with the about the about the ark. All right, let me just find it first where I was at. Okay. So it says their fighting strength and valor departed the passing years. They grew fat and slothful. They who had come down in manly array to fight and win, who could not be challenged in battle by the lesser men of the plains, were eaten up in the mansions of pleasure and in drinking booths with music, wine, and fine linen. Upon the mountain and in the mountain homes there were weeping and sadness among the women. Fields were unattended and cattle strayed away. Sheep went unplucked. The best craftsmen were gone, and few remained willing to learn their skill. The teachers of learning taught no more. The gnarled hand that had wielded the sword and terrorized foe now plucked the string of the psaltery and lyre. The rough jerkins and corsets were cast off, and now garments were of fine linen, dyed purple and crimson. Men arrayed their softened bodies in gaudy attire and bathed in scented waters. They rejected their own women for those of the cities, whose hands and feet were stained with bright colors and whose faces were marked with blue. Whose hands and feet are stained with bright colors? Don't y'all women go and get y'all nails done and stain them with bright colors, y'all feet and y'all hands? And isn't y'all eyelashes most of the time blue? Don't a lot of y'all put blue stuff on your eyelids? A lot of women do. This happened a long time ago, y'all. And look, you heard what I just said, right? Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't the only one that figured that out. One day, from afar off came 3 men of Ardis, their country having been stricken by a mountain burst. That's a volcano exploding. They were worshippers of the one God, whose light shines within men. And when they had lived in the 2 cities for a number of days, they were stirred up in their hearts because of the things they saw. So they called upon their God to see these evil things. Their God sent down a curse upon the men of the cities. And there came a strange light, and a smoky mist, which caught all the throats of men. All things became still and apprehensive. There were strange clouds in the skies, and the nights were hung with heaviness. Many days passed before the north wind came and the sky cleared. But then, when women conceived, they bore devils. Monstrosities came forth from their wombs, whose faces were terrible and whose limbs were unproportioned. In those days, men knew the art of working clay and making linen in bright colors, and also to use the eye paint. They had knowledge of herbs and magic, of enchantment, and the wisdom of the book of heaven, the knowledge of signs and omens, the secret of the seasons of the moon and the coming of waters. The remnant of the son of Nazarah remained upon the mountain, which are against Ardis, by the land about the enchantment of Lamech. In Ardis there were wise men, filled with the inner wisdom, who read the book of heaven with understanding and knew signs. They saw that the deeds of men in all the lands about the mountains had brought brought them to their hour. Then the day came, when the lady of the night changed her garment for one of a different hue, and her form swept more swiftly across the skies. Her tresses streamed out behind in gold and copper, and she rode in a chariot of fire. The people in those days were a great multitude, and a loud cry ascended into heaven. So, if anybody's been paying attention to the sky has, especially in Russia, the sky turned a copper hue, a red hue. These are signs, y'all. Just telling y'all. I'm about to read what's about to happen, so y'all know what's about to happen. That's exactly what's about to happen. Then the wise men went to Sherapik, now called Sherapish, and said to Sisuda, the king, Behold, the years are shortened, and the hour of trial draws near. Behold, the years are shortened. Isn't that true? Yeah. Time flying like it's like, gee, like, you know what I mean? A week go by in a day. The shadow of doom approaches this land because of its wickedness. Yet, because you have not mingled with the wicked, you are set apart and shall not perish. This is so your seeds may be preserved. Then the king sent for Hanak, son of Hagater, or something like that. And he came out of Ardis. And there he had heard a voice among the reeds, saying, Abandon your abode and possessions, for the hour of doom is at hand. Neither gold nor treasure can buy you a reprieve. Or can buy a reprieve. Sorry, I didn't mean to say you. Then Hanuk came into the cities and said to the governors, Behold, I would go down to the sea, and would therefore build a great ship, that I may take my people upon it. With me will go those who trouble you, and they will take the things which cause you concern. Therefore you will be left in peace to your own enjoyment. The governor said, Go down to the sea and build your ship there, and it will be well for you to go with our blessing. But Hanuk answered, It has been told to me in a dream that the ship should be built against the mountains, and the sea will come up to me. When he had gone away, they declared him mad. The people mocked him, calling him commander of the sea. But they did not hinder him, seeing gain in his undertaking. Therefore a great ship was laid down under the leadership of Hanuk, the son of Hagater, or something like that. For Sasuda, king of Sherapish, from whose treasury came payment for the building of the vessel. It was built on the lake of Namus, close by the river of gold, where it divides. All the household of Hanuk was there, and the household of his brother was directed. The men who directed the men of task at the task. Sorry, y'all. Dwaven, captain of ships from the land beyond Ardis, was overseer of the craftsmen. The women and children carried, and the men built. The length of the ship was about 300 cubits, and its breadth was 50 cubits. and it was finished off above by 1 cubit. It had 3 stories, which were built without a break. So this ship had 3 stories, 3 stories high. The lowermost was for the beast and cattle and their provender, and it was laid over with sand from the river. The middle one was for birds and fowls, for plants and every kind that are good for men and beasts, and the uppermost one was for the people. Each story was divided in twain, and so that there were 6 floors below, and one above, and they were divided across with 7 portions. In it were cisterns for water and storehouses for food, and it was built with ashkara wood, which water cannot rot or worms enter. It was pitched within and without, with the cistern were laid, and without, and the cisterns were laid. And the planks were edged, and the joints made fastened with hair and oil. Great stones were hung from ropes and plaited leather, and the ship was without mast or oars. There were no poles and no openings, except for a hatch beneath the eaves, above whereby all things entered. The hatch was secured by great beams. Into the great ship they carried the seeds of the living things. Grain was laid up in the baskets, and many cattle and sheep were slain for meat, which was smoked by fire. They also took all kinds of beasts of the field, and wild beasts, birds, fowls, all things that crawled. So gold, silver, metal, and stones. So when they took these animals, where some people, you hear people arguing now, well, how did you stop this animal from eating this animal? Well, this right here tell you how it stops. They made levels and they sectioned it off. So you had animals in different places. And then they just said they slayed a lot of cattle and sheep and smoked the meat. So if you smoke meat, it lasts for a long time. That's how they fed the animals, the other animals and stuff. And also they planted food. They planted stuff. Right? The people of the plains came up and camped about to see this wonder. Even the sons of Nazareth were among them, and they daily mocked the builders of the great ship. But these were not dismayed and toiled harder at the task. They said to the mockers, they have their honor, for ours will surely come. On the appointed day, they who were to go with the great ship departed from their homes and the encampment. They kissed the stones and embraced the trees, and they gathered up handfuls of the earth. For all this they would see no more. They loaded the great ship with their possessions and all their provender, which provender went with them. They set the ram's head over the hatch, pouring out blood, milk, honey, and beer, beating upon their breasts, weeping and lamenting. The people entered the great ship, the great shop. It says shop was a ship, and closed the hatch, making it secure within. The king had entered, and with him those of his blood, in all 14, for it was forbidden that his household go into the ship. Of all the people who entered with him, 2 understood the ways of the sun and the moon, and the ways of the years and seasons, one quarry of stones, one making of bricks, and one making of axes and weapons. One the playing of musical instruments, one bread, one making pottery, one care of gardens, and one carving of wood and stone. One making of roofs, one working of timbers, one making of cheese and butter, one growing trees, plants, one making plows, one weaving clothes and making dyes, and one brewing beer, one the filling and cutting of trees, one making of chariots, one dancing, one of the mysteries of the scribes, one of building of houses and working of leather. There was one skilled in working of cedar and willow wood, and he was a hunter. One who knew the cunning of games and circus, and he was a watchman. There was an inspector of all of water, of water and walls, a magistrate and a captain of men. There were 3 servants of God. There was Hanok and his brothers and their household, Dwiven and 6 men who were strangers. That don't sound like 3 sons and some wives. That sound like that's about 30, 40 people. Then, with the dawning, men saw an awesome sight. There, riding on a great black rolling cloud, came the destroyer, newly released from his confines of the sky vaults. And she raged about the heavens, for it was her day of judgment. The beast with her opened its mouth and belched forth fire and hot stones, and a veil of smoke. It covered the whole sky above, and the meeting place of earth and heaven could no longer be seen. In the evening, the places of the stars were changed. They rode across the sky to new stations. Then the flood waters came. So when the Most High flooded the earth, he also sent the destroyer, which is like I told you, some type of dragon monster. They throw fire, they breathe fire and stuff, and all types of craziness. And I told y'all it's like black smoke and all. I told y'all. So listen. So he let both of them. He let that loose and open up the vaults for the water to come out. The floodgates of heaven were open, and the foundations of the earth were broken apart. So if the earth is a ball, why would it have foundations? Yeah, right. Okay. Like I said, because somebody called me a flat earther, and I said, no. I believe the word of the Most High. He says the earth is fixed and does not move. It don't spin. So, yeah. The heavens spin, not the fucking earth. The foundations of the earth were broken apart. Exactly. The surrounding waters poured over the land and broke up the mountains. The storehouses of winds burst their bolts asunder, so storms and whirlwinds were loosed to hurl themselves upon the earth. See, people just think it was just raining and just kept raining. Fuck no, it was hurricanes and all types of shit going on. So this gives you a way worse description than there's some fucking water falling from the sky for 40 days and 40 nights. This tell you like it was all hell breaking loose. You had a goddamn monster flying around burning up shit. Right? You had that going on. You had fucking storms and hurricanes and all types of crazy winds flying at hundreds of miles per hour, throwing shit, breaking up mountains. You got big walls of water coming across. Like, please. That's way worse than what you're reading. That's why I tell you they took a lot out. I'm going to keep going, though, because y'all about to hear it. The storehouses of winds burst their bolts asunder, so storms and whirlwinds were loose to hurl themselves upon the earth. In the seething waters and hollowing gales, all buildings were destroyed, trees were uprooted, and mountains cast down. That means a mountain got knocked flat. Yeah. There was a time of great heat. That's the monster. Then came a time of bitter cold. Come on, y'all. The waves over the water did not rise. The waves over the waters did not rise and fall, but seethed and swirled. There was an awful sound above. The pillars of heaven were broken and fell down to earth. Now, what are the pillars of heaven, y'all? That's a good question. You know what that is, right? That's the goddamn firmament. The sky vault was rent and broken. The whole creation was in chaos. Now, what did they say the day of the Lord was going to be like? But when they revised the Bible, when they sat there and took all this shit out, all you thinking about some fucking water falling out the sky. And just keep rising and rising and rising. Here, all fucking hell's breaking loose. Ain't nobody gonna survive this. Let's keep going. All creation was in chaos. The stars in the heavens were loosened from their places. So they dashed about in confusion, just shooting stars everywhere. Shit flying across. It's crazy. Just everything going crazy. There was a revolt on high. A new ruler appeared there and swept across the sky in majesty. Those who had not labored at the building of the great ship, and those who had mocked the builders, came quickly to the place where it was lying. They climbed upon the ship and beat upon it with their hands. They raged and pleaded, but could not enter inside, nor could they break the wood. As the great ship was bored up by the waters, it rolled, and they were swept off, for there was no foothold for them. The ship was lifted by the mighty surge of the waters and hurled among the debris, but it was not dashed upon the mountainside, because of the place where it was built. All the people not saved within the ship were swallowed up in the midst of the raging confusion, and their wickedness and corruption was purged away from the face of the earth. The swelling waters swept up the mountaintops and filled in the valleys. They did not rise like water. They did not rise like water poured into a bowl, but came in great surging torrents. But when the tumult quieted and the waters became still, they stood no more than 3 cubits above the earth. The destroyer passed away into fastness of the heaven, and the great flood remained 7 days. The great flood remained 7 days. 7 days is completion. 40 days is not completion. 7 is completion. Hello. Let's go. Remained 7 days, diminishing day by day as the waters drained away to their places, and the waters spread out calmly, and the great ship drifted amid the brown scum and debris of all kinds. After many days, the great ship came to rest upon Cardo in the mountains of Ashtar against Nashem in the land of God. Nashem, Shem, the land of Shem. What is it? In the land of God. What you say? Now, tell me, do that make more sense? Isn't that more clearer? And I'm gonna tell you why I believe this book, right? Let me tell you why I believe it. Number one, Og was a giant, right? Og was before the flood. And if Noah and his sons were the only ones to survive, how did Moses kill Og if Moses was after the flood? And if you read the book of Og, the story of Og tell you that he was in a high mountain. He climbed a high mountain. That's what it says. So, I mean, that's a contradiction. That means they took stuff out and put stuff in. Like I said, y'all. Like I said, you got to go after wisdom, y'all. You can't trust in what man say. You can't. You trust man, you gonna fall. Every time. Every single time. You keep trusting these people, you're gonna fall. Here, this story, it pretty much almost, it looked like 40 people survived in the boat by themselves, which makes sense. Because if there's only 3 men, that means all those skills got to be learned again. All that stuff that people came to learn. Like, come on, dog. Like again, it's time to use wisdom and not foolishness. And snaps. And that's what we good at using, foolishness. We can't keep listening to these people. So you telling me, you imagine how long it would have took every nation to repopulate, number one. And besides that, learn all those different skills all over again. You know how much work that is? Huh? You don't have a damn clue how much work that is. This makes perfect sense that you would take one person that knows that has those crafts, each person. So, I mean, y'all tell me. If y'all want me to keep reading more stuff, I don't have a problem with it. I told y'all that Kolbrin Bible is something serious. All right, y'all. I'm going to let y'all go. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Shalom. I had to sit in my car. All right.